We're past our halfway mark. The first half of the week was our first drawing project where we sketched up mandalas, inked them, and colored them. It went pretty well, and now we're moving on to the second half of the week. Today we will be drawing something organic like animals, people, plants, clouds, and so on. I googled references of objects I knew I wanted in my drawing. I knew I wanted a worm's eye view of a flower and a fairy, and I decided to add a gnome to tie this drawing back to my first and second week's projects, where we crocheted granny squares and stitched them together to make a fabric checkerboard, and then painted checker pieces to play with. The garden gnome and fairies checkerboard was my theme, so since this is sort of a garden theme, I thought I'd take inspiration from my other work. You'll notice that through this video I sketch lightly and block in shapes and then continue to rework certain areas over and over and over. I even move on to other areas and then come back later. If you draw too hard, try to break the habit by holding your pencil about 2 inches from the tip, because if you draw too hard, you can't erase the pencil after you ink it. If you end up drawing too hard, you can trace your drawing when you're done onto another sheet of paper. And then if you need to use a window as a light board to see through the paper better, I suggest using scotch or washi tape to tape the paper to the window to keep everything still. Make sure you take breaks because your arm will get tired. Maybe even trace just the outlines and the major shapes and then go back to your table and lightly draw in the smaller details. When sketching your objects, remember that good visual movement always comes from smooth curves, like an S or a C shape. My flower has an S shape, while my gnome has a C shape. My mushrooms even have a slight C curve to them. Try not to worry about details until you've finalized on your shapes. Details can distract you from seeing the movement in the overall image. Once you're happy with your composition, you can add details, but make sure that they actually improve the image and don't take away from it. I could add faces to my creatures, but I'm not going to because A, they're already tiny, and B, the details would take away from the image since the faces aren't significant. I've expressed their mood through their body language well enough. Remember, all of this takes tons of practice. I learned all of this over 3.5 years of schooling. Technical skills take lots and lots of studying as well as practice and focus. I still have many more years of studying and practice, and at the moment I'm out of practice, so if your drawing doesn't turn out perfect, that's totally fine. You can completely ignore my tips and I will not be offended. You do you. I just needed something to talk about for a few minutes, so I thought I'd share some of my schooling knowledge in case anybody would like to learn them. Just have fun drawing. You don't have to take it seriously at all. I got some new music recorded, so I'll hush up so you can listen for a while. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope your drawing is going well. I am happy with how mine turned out. Tomorrow we will ink our drawings. I remembered to grab a regular Sharpie at the store yesterday, so I'll be using that to trace my drawing. Don't forget to share your progress with me on my social media pages. Look for samlescreations on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I also have a Patreon under the same name if you'd like to support me so I can afford more art supplies for new projects. Tell me what crafts you want to do, and in the future I will be sure to add them to my list. I have a special offer going on as well through the 25th, and if you subscribe to my Patreon by then, I will draw you a new profile photo. So thank you for crafting along with me, and I hope you have a great day and a happy drawing.